And we welcome you into another edition of the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast, giving you the news and notes around the world of high school and college basketball across the Mountain State and beyond. And today I brought my co-host once again, Jagger Matheny, to talk some hoops. Jagger, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. I got a big week ahead. I start college next Wednesday, so this time next week it's gonna be chaotic, but I'm in for it and I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Let's wish our guy Jagger Matheny good luck in college in his freshman year, attending the West Virginia University in media. But first things first, we just got some big news yesterday. Those of you guys who keep up with the high school basketball news and such, this is this for West Virginia athletics altogether. The West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission, or WVSSAC for short, has announced that they are bringing in the NIL to high school and middle school athletes across the state of West Virginia. I just read through that a little bit of what's going on. Wayne Ryan, who's the executive director, was on Metro News. I saw a little article where they were talking a little bit about the NIL format heading into the 2025-26 season. Basically saying that it's just all about the name and the image and the likeness is not going to be promoting their sport, and it's not going to show their. It's not going to like support their school in any way. It's just support the athlete, not the sport, not the school. So, um, I even did an Instagram poll about it to see how people thought about it, and some people think it's a good idea. Some people think it's a bad idea. But you're gonna have that, that's how it is these days. But I'm just gonna come to you guys saying what you guys think about it. But first, I'm gonna ask Jagger what he feels is best. Jagger, do you think that NIL in West Virginia and middle school athletics in West Virginia is a good move?
I have mixed feelings about it. I think that for the future, long term, it can be really good for the athletes, and it's a way to get themselves out there and put themselves on the map. And this is a good way of it. But I think there's an extent to it, and I hope it doesn't go over the extent, and I hope it doesn't turn into 15-year-old kids are getting thousands of dollars. But one thing I really don't like about it, which you mentioned, was they can't show their school through it. And
Yeah,
I think that's what it's all about. It's about high school's about your pride, your school pride, and what it means to play for your school. So that part I don't like, but I do like that they can get themselves out there and put each other on the map.
absolutely. I like that, and that's what we were talking about before this podcast here as well. Is like it's a good idea, but it can also turn into a bad. It can turn for the worse as well if things don't
Yeah.
get control. But I think from the looks of it, I think it looks pretty good. It looks a little under control, but I don't really like the fact that it doesn't support the school itself because the school brings in revenue from these games, both for like we're not just talking like football games, we're talking like basketball, we're talking about golf, cross country events. We even have like some, we've had like in West Virginia. Obviously, we're mainly like a football state mainly, but we're also a basketball state as well. And we also have some cross country runners who have made themselves known nationally. I mean, I mean, I came from University High School from cross country because I wasn't really too much of a basketball player, but I was more of a cross country runner, and I ran with some of the best in the state. And they were like, even like prior to whenever I came to high school, we had kids that were running like the Penn relays and like
Yeah.
going doing these national events, and they weren't getting like any type of recognition for it, like any like pay, like getting paid and stuff like that, obviously. Um, but they represented their school, so yeah, I think the school definitely deserves to get its fair share of revenue as well.
And real quick,
Um,
Ollie, real quick, I was a I was a 4 year member of the cross country team, and quick shout out to Coach Ed.
yeah,
He's by far the best coach in the state and one of the best coaches around. He's been around for years now, and he really knows what he's doing. He reproduces every year, and multiple state championships with him, and Division 1 runners, and it's a great program he's got.
Absolutely. You know, running with Coach Ed the last 4 years from 2014 and 2018 was amazing. It was an amazing ride. Um, and it's awesome you bring that up because, you know, I mean, CrossFit, like I mentioned before, we had a lot of top runners. We had Seth Edwards, who was one of the top in the state. We had Alex Miner, Tristan Harvey. Um, you know, had a lot of other people that, you know, the Palladino twins, both Andy and Millie Palladino used to be like one of the top runners in the state, and Millie was one of the top girls runners in the country. We had Irene Riggs from Morgantown, who was also one of the best runners in the country, and she already ran like Nike invitationals and stuff like that. Like it's stuff like that that they need to get recognized for, and also that's for it. I love that it benefits the student, but I would also love if it benefited the school as well, which I do think is a big downgrade of it. But other than that, I think the NIL for students is a good idea. But I just hope that it doesn't go out of control.
For sure. And like you said, it sucks for the school that they can't be recognized too, because it brings in revenue for the school itself and the people. And like you said, it's not all about just football and basketball. There's other state or other, really good sports throughout the state and good athletes in other sports besides the two big sports. But yeah, it sucks for the schools, but it can be a really big benefit for the athletes itself.
Absolutely. And, like I said before, hopefully this thing goes into full. I think it's going into full swing. It's official now. And I think it's going to be a good idea. Just like I said, hopefully it doesn't get out of control. But then, and, you know, well, let's see what happens this fall and this winter to see who's going to be recognized. So, and anybody who's looking for support, I saw Spring Mills tight end who's going to be playing at Cincinnati, Mr. Xavier Anderson, part of the state championship squad from basketball and the state runner-up team for football. He's also looking for support as well, so I'll definitely mention his name out. Xavier Anderson is one of the best athletes in the state, so definitely give him some recognition, show him some love as well. So I'll just mention that here on Twitter and all that stuff. But other than that, NIL, West Virginia, love that we're doing it, and I think more states are getting on that bandwagon as well. So I think it's great. So, and I think we'll move on from that. Other than that, West Virginia basketball news. We're going to be talking about the non-conference schedule, as it is official now that West Virginia will play Ohio State this on Saturday, December 13th at Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. As I was mentioning the Jagger before, it's great that West Virginia is getting that chance to play a pretty good Big Ten conference opponent, especially a team like Ohio State. You know, Jake Diebler does an amazing job. He did an amazing job in his first full year as the Buckeyes head coach last season, and I think he's retained a lot of good pieces. I think it's going to be a challenge for West Virginia. It's one of their biggest opponents for the non-conference schedule. And also announced today the Charleston Classic that West Virginia will be playing Clemson on November 21st and will play either Georgia or Xavier on November 23rd in the Shriners Classic down in Charleston, South Carolina. So just wanted to talk about your thoughts on that and how West Virginia will do against those teams moving forward into the season.
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity for WVU before conference play to play Power 4 non-conference teams, and I think it really gives the team a chance to see where they're at, what they need to work on, what they're good at, what they need to improve, and it's a good opportunity, and I love that we're playing. There's already 3 confirmed games. There's Wake Forest, Clemson, Ohio State, and obviously the backyard brawl pit. So 4 teams right there that you get a good look at your own team, see what you need to work on.
I know we didn't really have any non-conference. I mean, we had the non-conference scheduling from last year. It wasn't really like I'm trying to remember who we played. Obviously, we played in the Battle for Atlantis, which was obviously like one of the biggest tournaments out there in college basketball. You know, we faced off against Arizona. We faced off against Louisville, excuse me. Then we played against who was the third team that we played other than Arizona? We played Gonzaga, right? Yeah. We played Gonzaga. We beat Gonzaga. Then we beat Arizona. Then we played Louisville, and we lost to a good Pat Kelsey team in Louisville. So, but Well, it's great that we're hosting those non-conference opponents early on. Like you mentioned before, we're playing Pitt, our first non-conference Power Five opponent, uh, at the Backyard Brawl, November 13th, I believe. And then we're playing. Obviously, we're playing host. We're playing. Well, it's not a host game, but we're playing them in Charleston, West Virginia, Wake Forest, at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center on December 6th. On the night of this WVSSAC football championships. So it's going to be a pretty big
Gonna be
doubleheader over there in Charleston. So
big night in
um,
Charleston. Big
big night
day.
in Charleston. And then the week
Yeah.
after that, West Virginia gets to play Ohio State and Cleveland. So, yeah, big non-conference scheduling. And obviously, we have a couple of games over there not really mentioned, but I have a feeling that the full schedule will be released. I'm hoping sometime in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, I'm not. I don't know. This is just my guess. I'm hoping that will come out in the next few weeks. But college basketball, this just goes to show you that the college basketball season is almost here, and we're just really psyched up for it.
Yep, I can't wait. I honestly, this might sound crazy, and there's probably people that won't agree with this, but I love college basketball more than college football. But I'm more of a basketball guy, so that's probably why. But I mean, every year this time, I'm always itching for college basketball to start, and I love Feast Week in November, and obviously March Madness, Conference Championship Week. It's fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a basketball guy too. I mean, football is like my main sport growing up, like watching it and stuff. I never played it, but I always loved basketball more as soon as I was like 8 or 9 years old. Whenever I started playing it, so it was a great opportunity just to show. It's just, I think basketball is just, college basketball is just, it's just a different aura to it. I mean, I know football has like, I know everyone knows that college football is like really big and everything, and I know that's coming up real soon. But college basketball is what I live for. Like getting into the high school stuff at first, whenever I was like 13, before I was even in high school, is whenever I really started like really falling in love with this. So, um, man, like you said, I live off for college basketball more than any sport out there. So,
Heck yeah.
um, it's a great feeling. So, but West Virginia basketball, I think the non-conference, as I've seen here as of right now, I'm looking up through Rocco Miller. Per Rocco Miller here from Bracketeer, he posted here as of right now the non-conference schedule for West Virginia consists of Campbell, Lehigh, Pittsburgh. November 30th is a game I have marked because they play Mercyhurst, and that's Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson's homecoming game. Cameron Johnson, if you guys don't know, played high school basketball at Jefferson High School down in the Eastern Panhandle in West Virginia, close to the Martinsburg area. So that'll be pretty nice. See an in-state kid coming to Morgantown on November 30th. December 22nd, Mississippi Valley State. And then obviously we mentioned the top road games against Clemson, and obviously playing either Xavier, Georgia, and then the Holiday Hoop Fest game at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center against Wake Forest on December 6th, and the Cleveland Hoops Showdown with Ohio State on December 13th at Rocket Arena where the Cavs play. And that's all. That Cleveland game is also going to be a doubleheader. Ohio University is going to be playing St. Bonaventure as well. So Rose will be in the building. As you know, he's the GM at for the Bonnies since he was an alum there. So
Yeah.
So it's great. It's great basketball all around.
It is, yeah. And like you said, doubleheader, that's a good day of basketball. And I think out of all three non conference games that WVU has with Clemson, Ohio State, and Pitt, I think Wake Forest too. But I think the Ohio State game will be the best one. Cleveland, it's going to be a good atmosphere. There's going to be a lot of fans there from both schools. And I think Ohio State's definitely the best opponent. But we'll see. You never know.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, we had some good games for Ohio State. Well, obviously we played them 2 years before that. This was when Chris Holtman was still the coach at Ohio State a couple of years ago. This was Josh Eilert's interim year whenever we played them in Cleveland. It was oh man, I mean, I have a feeling that West Virginia should have had that game. That was a game that West Virginia didn't deserve to lose. But I mean, Ohio State just ended up like coming at us in the end. But it was a good game all around. Yeah. I just think West Virginia's played sloppy, but in the final seconds. But other than that, West Virginia has a chance of redemption. Ross Hodge, has built together a really good uh, base with the players and the coaching staff, and he's got this non-conference schedule thing rolling. I mean, he's got some opponents. Like we got some opponents.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
things that I want to talk about with these non-conference opponents, with the even with these Power Fives. I mean, the Power Fives that we're playing. I know we're not playing we're not playing Alabama. We're not playing Duke. We're not playing. We're not playing Arizona yet in the Big 12 conference teams yet. I get that. Not in any SEC teams either, but we can't sleep on them, because last year, whenever we played at Pitt, we had a feeling that game we shouldn't have gotten beat up by Pitt like that last year. That shouldn't have happened.
that was just unacceptable. You could
That
say.
shouldn't have happened. That was
Yeah,
I mean, maybe because it was DeVries and he didn't really understand that. They just kind of treated it like every normal game. I
yeah,
mean, but we're seeing it how Rich Rod's doing it. Rich Rod's like taking that game personally, because it's a
yeah,
rival. It's our rival because
yeah.
it's WVU and Pitt. It's always going to be like that. Um, but yeah, it's like we're playing Pitt. We can't sleep against these opponents. We can't sleep on Pittsburgh. We can't sleep on Wake Forest, even though Wake Forest is projected to be like in the bottom half of the ACC. Same goes with Clemson. They're kind of like in the middle right there. Xavier and Georgia, kind of sleepers in their conference. Georgia's a sleeper in the SEC. Xavier is kind of a sleeper in the Big East. And Ohio State's, I mean, in my opinion, Ohio State's kind of a top 5 Big Ten opponent,
Mm-hmm.
because they got a lot of retention pieces. John Mobley and Bruce Thornton, one of the best guards, backcourt duos in the country.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're
College
not playing again.
basketball, anything
That's
can
just
happen.
college basketball. Anything
Yeah,
can happen. That's
yeah,
right. And we just
yeah,
can't. We just got to compete with those guys. I have a
yeah.
feeling that I know we have the talent to do it. As I've mentioned before, as you guys already seen on Twitter, I've been talking about my latest profile, um, recruiting profiles from the WVU basketball players. I just did one of Harlan Obioha last Sunday, and then Honor Huff um, no, actually last week. Yeah, last week. And then last Sunday was Harlan Obioha. And I saw that Honor Huff just followed me, actually just a few minutes ago. Honor
Right
Huff
before the
followed me
show.
on here on Twitter. So right before the show. So
Yeah,
want to give a shout out to your Honor Huff,
thank you.
I
Good honor.
think that's a pretty good nickname there to stick
Oh
on
yeah,
there. So I appreciate him for showing the love to the ORS brand. And um, but yeah, like I said before, this West Virginia basketball team, I have a feeling it's gonna have. I mean, this non-conference this non-conference schedule is good, and I
hmm
have a feeling that we can compete. West Virginia has a chance to compete with some of the best. Um, even though this non-conference schedule isn't really like an eye popper to some, but for a first year head coach and Ross Hodge, this is definitely a challenge. And I do believe that they can take on that challenge pretty well. So
yep.
really looking forward to seeing how that's gonna turn out.
And as I've said in previous episodes, I think this WVU team this year can do something really special. They can exceed expectations like they did last year. I could see it being the same thing where they get some big time wins on their schedule. And there's non-conference games in November and December are the ones that they really look at in March whenever they're trying to fill the brackets. These are really important games. They mean just as much as the conference games.
Absolutely, they do, and that will be a good record for the NCAA committee, because I know Ross Hodge. He knows the system. I think he knows that he needs to get some good non-conference scheduling to you know, have a good resume. I mean, every college coach is doing it. They want to solidify their resume so they can make it into March Madness, the big dance,
Yep.
and make it to that field 68. We missed out last year, and I know that set us back. But I know that WVU's the non-conference schedule is definitely going to help, and just really looking forward. Just looking forward to the season in November. So, and lastly, we wanted to talk about Rich Rodriguez. I know I didn't really see the press conference, but as you mentioned before the podcast here, Jag, you were talking about. I did see on social media that Huggins did kind of show the, not excuse me, Huggins Rodriguez did kind of show the depth chart a
Hmm.
little bit. So I was wondering. I don't really have any like opinions about that, other than the fact that we've mentioned on the show before that Rich Rod even mentioned that um, for the three, he's going to play three quarterbacks if they can compete. So, and he was also talking about like the arms of the quarterbacks, like they can throw really well. So that's definitely something to look after as well, because we got some talented wide receivers. Rodney Gallagher, and we got Cam Vaughn from Jack State. So it's really interesting to see like how this football team's going to do offensively.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that. And honestly, with Rich Rod, I feel like a depth chart doesn't really mean anything. It's something that everyone has to have, so he has one. But I think a lot throughout the season, he's going to play a lot of different guys at a lot of different times. And I mean, it's going to be one of those teams where you could see everybody playing because he's just trying to figure out who he wants, and who can play in certain situations. So I don't
Yeah.
think it really means a whole lot. So we'll just see as the season goes on.
Absolutely, man. We got about like 2 weeks. We're like 2.5 weeks away from the start of college football season. That first
Yes,
game
sir.
against Robert Morris on August 30th. The Red Rod era is beginning here real soon, so I know a lot of people are really amped up about it. I know this is a basketball podcast, but this mainly is a West Virginia branded show, so we will talk about West Virginia athletics, whether it comes to football, basketball, you name it. Anything that WVU is successful at, we'll definitely talk about. Um, and lastly, before we close off here, I wanted to mention to you guys, I've mentioned something on Twitter that we want to continue the brand to be successful on the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast. We definitely want to make this podcast consistent. I haven't really been doing too good of a job at that, but we're going to be consistent at this daily. Personally, me, I take this very personally. I love doing this stuff. I've been doing this since I was 19. After I graduated from high school, didn't know what to do with my life, and I knew that I wanted to make a difference in people's lives in terms of basketball and stuff, and that's just kind of how I relate to people and everything. So, but it's always been more. It's always meant more to me. It's always, I mean, the people that I've met, whether like anyone from the state or nationally, all the relationships mean everything to me, and I want to be able to continue that brand, to be not just like in the basketball business, but we're also in the people business as well. So um, but yes, I want to be very consistent with it, and I'll be going into more detail on it here later in the week. I'll definitely be making a video about it here soon on social, let you guys know the future of this channel. But we're just saying that we're not going anywhere, and I'll give you guys some more details on it later. So, but as always, I want to thank Jagger for coming on the podcast once again, my co-host, and also wish him for all you guys that are listening out there. Make sure you guys wish him good luck for his first freshman season in college and entering the sports media business at WVU. So make sure you guys go share him some love on social. And like I said before, if you guys are tuned into the podcast, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing on the YouTube channel. We definitely want to get this channel monetized, get up to 500 to 1,000 followers, hopefully, 500 to 1,000 subscribers, hopefully before the end of the year, before 2025 ends. But like I said, we'll keep you guys connected along the way. Like I said before, make sure you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go give us a like and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so we keep you guys connected with high school and college basketball across West Virginia and beyond. But that's going to do it for me. I'm Ollie Reed. He's Jagger Matheny, and this has been the Ollie Reed Sports Podcast.